Budapest, May 30th, 1700 hours, British summertime. Arsenal Football Club will step onto the biggest stage in European club football and face Paris Saint-Germain in the Champions League final. That sentence alone should stop every single Arsenal supporter in their tracks, because this is not a rumour, this is not speculation, this is confirmed. The Premier League themselves have officially announced it. Arsenal versus Paris Saint-Germain, Champions League final, Budapest. Now, before anyone underestimates what this means, let me be very clear. It has been 20 years since Arsenal last reached a Champions League final. 20 years. That is an entire generation of Arsenal supporters who have grown up never once seeing their club in this position. And now, here they are, not just in the final, but in the final while still fighting for the Premier League title with 3 games remaining in the domestic season. That combination alone, chasing a league title and a European trophy simultaneously, is something that only the truly elite clubs in world football are capable of managing. And the evidence is right in front of us. Arsenal are doing it, but let me be equally clear about something else. The path ahead is not straightforward. Paris Saint-Germain are the defending champions of Europe. They have just eliminated Bayern Munich in a thrilling semi-final. They come into this final with 44 goals scored across their Champions League campaign this season. 44 goals. That is the best attacking record in the entire tournament. Arsenal, on the other hand, have conceded just 6 goals across their entire Champions League campaign. 6 goals. That is the best defensive record in the tournament. So the setup is right there in front of you. The best attack in the competition against the best defence in the competition. And in exactly 23 days' time, one of them will lift that trophy in Budapest. This is the kind of final that European football was made for. Now, let me explain exactly what is at risk and what is at stake for Arsenal going into this final, because this goes far beyond football. Arsenal have not won the Champions League ever. In the club's entire history, the trophy has never been lifted by a team wearing the red and white of Arsenal. The closest they came was the 2005 to 2006 season, when Arsène Wenger's side reached the final in Paris and lost to Barcelona. That night ended in heartbreak. And for 2 decades, it has remained a wound that never fully healed for this club and its supporters. Now, Mikel Arteta has his chance to do what no Arsenal manager in history has ever done. And according to confirmed information, Arsenal are so committed to Arteta's project that they are already planning to offer him a new contract this summer. That decision was made back in March, regardless of how the season ends. So the trust in Arteta at board level is total and unconditional. But here is what makes the stakes even higher. This Arsenal squad right now in this moment is arguably the most complete group of players the club has assembled in the modern era. Most of their key players are fit. They have found form at exactly the right time of the season, and they go into this final with the momentum of a squad that genuinely believes they can win. Losing this final would not just be disappointing, it would mean waiting at least another season, rebuilding and hoping everything aligns again. The window of opportunity for this specific group of players does not stay open forever, and that is why what happens in Budapest matters so deeply. Before I go any deeper into this analysis, if you are the kind of Arsenal supporter who wants the full picture, not just the headlines, not just the surface level takes, but the real detailed breakdown of what is happening at this club right now, then hit that subscribe button right now on this channel. Melissa, Arsenal analyst, we go beyond the noise. We analyse what actually matters. Subscribe and turn on your notifications so you never miss a breakdown like this one. Now let us get into the full detail, the reactions, the reality. Let me walk you through every confirmed piece of information that has come out in the last 24 hours surrounding this final, because there is a lot to process. The official confirmation, the Premier League's official account posted the following, quote, "Next stop, Budapest. Arsenal will face Paris Saint-Germain in the Champions League final later this month. Kick-off Saturday, 30th of May, 1700 hours, British summertime," end quote. Now, my analysis on this, the fact that the Premier League themselves announced this tells you everything about the magnitude of what Arsenal have achieved. This is not just a football story. This is a cultural moment, an English club competing domestically at the highest level while simultaneously reaching the pinnacle of European football. The Premier League wanted to own that narrative, and the image they chose to represent it, Ousmane Dembélé on one side for Paris Saint-Germain and Bukayo Saka on the other for Arsenal, tells its own story about the individual battles that will define this final. Arsenal's remaining fixtures, Arsenal radar confirmed Arsenal's remaining schedule before the final: away at West Ham United on May 10th, home to Burnley on May 18th, away at Crystal Palace on May 24th, then the Champions League final on May 30th. My analysis on this: 3 Premier League games stand between Arsenal and the final. Three games that could also decide the title race. The fixture list is brutal in its timing, but it also presents an extraordinary opportunity. Arsenal could conceivably walk into the Budapest final as Premier League champions. Think about that for a moment. They could arrive in Hungary having already won one trophy and with the chance to complete a domestic and European double. The mental and physical demands on this squad over the next 3 weeks are enormous, but the reward, if they manage it, would be historic. The prediction markets, according to the prediction market platform Kalshi, Paris Saint-Germain are the early favourites to win the Champions League final at 59%. Arsenal are placed at 41%. My analysis on this, the numbers are on it. Paris Saint-Germain are favourites, and that is a fair reflection of where both clubs sit right now in the wider perception of European football. But 41% is not a small number. Arsenal go into this as genuine contenders, not hopeful outsiders. And the fact that commentator Conor Humm, who follows European football closely, said he is confident about Arsenal's chances, suggests that within football circles, the gap between these two sides is not as wide as casual observers might assume. The Merino update, this is significant. It has been confirmed that Mikel Merino has returned to training on grass. There is no definitive timeline on his return yet, but the Spaniard is pushing hard to feature before the end of the season. Crucially, despite his injury, Merino has been attending nearly every team meeting and is one of 7 members of Arsenal's leadership group. My analysis on this, the importance of this update should not be understated. Merino arriving fit for the Champions League final would be a major boost for Arsenal. He is exactly the kind of physically imposing, technically assured midfielder who could influence a final of this magnitude. His presence in every team meeting, despite being injured, also tells you something important about the character of this squad. He is not absent, he is embedded. He is part of the decision-making culture at this club. If he makes it to Budapest fit and available, that changes Arsenal's options significantly. Luis Enrique praises Arsenal. Paris Saint-Germain manager Luis Enrique spoke after his side eliminated Bayern Munich, and his words about Arsenal deserve close attention. He said, and I quote directly, "I can appreciate that Bayern are at our level, and I think Arsenal are also one of the best teams this season. What they have done all season long is incredible. They are still playing in the Premier League, and they are in the final," end quote. My analysis on this, these are not diplomatic pleasantries. Luis Enrique is a highly detailed, analytically precise manager. When he says Arsenal are one of the best teams this season, he means it as a genuine football assessment. He has watched Arsenal compete at every level this season. He knows their structure, their intensity, their defensive organisation. His respect is earned, not offered casually. But within that respect, there is also a warning. He believes in his own side's football style just as strongly. This is two managers who are confident in their systems going head-to-head. That is what makes this final so compelling. Kvaratskhelia speaks Paris Saint-Germain. Winger Kuvica Kvaratskhelia gave his reaction after beating Bayern Munich. His words were as follows: "Very happy we are in the final. We know it will be difficult against Arsenal. Bayern is one of the best teams right now. It was very difficult, the hardest one in the season. We showed we can play against these teams. I will give everything for this badge." My analysis on this, pay close attention to two things Kvaratskhelia said. First, he said beating Bayern was the hardest game of the season. That means Paris Saint-Germain have been through a genuinely demanding semi-final. They are not arriving in Budapest fresh and untested. They will carry some physical and mental fatigue from that Bayern tie. Second, he said Arsenal will be difficult. He did not say Arsenal will be easy. He did not say Paris Saint-Germain are simply better. He acknowledged the challenge directly. That tells you the Paris Saint-Germain players have genuine respect for what Arsenal are capable of. Fabrizio Romano's comparison. Fabrizio Romano framed the final in a way that every football analyst has been thinking. Paris Saint-Germain have the best attack in the Champions League this season with 44 goals scored. Arsenal have the best defence with only 6 goals conceded. He simply asked the question, who is going to win? My analysis on this is the central tactical question of the entire final. Can Paris Saint-Germain's relentless attacking firepower unlock the best defensive structure in the competition? Or can Arsenal's disciplined, organised and physically powerful backline neutralise the most prolific attacking unit in Europe? The answer to that question will decide who lifts the trophy on May 30th. The numbers tell you that neither side enters this as a clear favourite on pure footballing metrics. The best attack meets the best defence. That is a final worth watching. Luis Enrique and the Arteta connection. After leading Paris Saint-Germain to the final, Luis Enrique spoke about his opponent and former teammate with clear warmth. His exact words were as follows: "I appreciate Mikel Arteta. We used to be teammates when we were kids. He did a great job at Arsenal. It will be a difficult, hard game, but we believe in our football style. My analysis on this, the detail here that matters most is the word Mikelito. That is a term of affection. A nickname used among close friends. Luis Enrique and Mikel Arteta go back a long way. They shared a dressing room during their playing careers. There is a real personal connection between these two managers. But do not mistake personal warmth for professional softness. Both men are deeply competitive. Both believe their system is superior. The friendship exists, but on May 30th in Budapest, it will not matter at all. Thierry Henry's reaction. Arsenal legend Thierry Henry, speaking on CBS Sports, gave a deeply personal and emotionally honest reaction. His words were as follows. I woke up with a smile this morning because it has been 20 years since we got to the Champions League final. To be in a position to compete for the Premier League, it has been 22 years since we won it as well. We still have not lost in Europe and we are not conceding many goals. That has to count for something. Paris Saint-Germain, though, will have the experience of winning it and they will not have any fear. Hopefully we go there and be brave, but we have to beat the defending champions, so it will not be easy. We know that. I am usually not too nervous, but I think I will be nervous for that final because they could do something I could not do myself. You want your team to win and experience that. Hopefully it is going to happen, but look at how Paris Saint-Germain played tonight. They can kill you in both ways, by scoring more goals than you and by neutralising you. The best team on the night and in the tie won, and they went about it in a different way against Bayern. They have everything they need, but Arsenal have been resilient, and when we do create, we score goals. It will be difficult, but let us see. My analysis on this. Henry's reaction is one of the most telling responses to come out of the entire evening. Here is a man who gave everything he had to win the Champions League with Arsenal and never managed it. He reached the final in 2006 and lost. He knows what it feels like to be that close and come away empty-handed. When he says he will be nervous because Arsenal could do something he could not do himself, that is one of the most honest and human things a football pundit has said in a long time. He is not just analysing this as an expert, he is feeling it as a supporter and a former player with unfinished business through the club he loves. His warning about Paris Saint-Germain is also precise and important. He says they can kill you in two ways, by scoring more than you or by neutralising you entirely. That is not a generic compliment, that is a specific tactical assessment of how Paris Saint-Germain dismantled Bayern Munich. They are flexible and dangerous in multiple game states. Arsenal will need to be at their absolute best. Owen Hargreaves on Arsenal's chances. Owen Hargreaves gave the following assessment. Arsenal have a chance, without question. With that defence that they have, the goalkeeper, they are brilliant. Declan Rice has played as a defensive midfield player and he is brilliant in there. That will be fascinating. Paris Saint-Germain will be more attacking than they were against Bayern, but this is a different Arsenal now. I think the last 3 or 4 weeks they went through that little blip. They believe now. They have a chance. They just have to believe. My analysis on this, Hargreaves identifies something that the statistics confirm. Arsenal's defensive unit is not just solid, it is historically good for this stage of the competition. Only 6 goals conceded across the entire Champions League campaign is a number that demands respect. And Declan Rice's role at the base of Arsenal's midfield is central to everything. His ability to screen the defence, press aggressively and transition quickly is what gives Arsenal the platform to build from. Hargreaves also references a recent blip in Arsenal's form, which is honest and accurate, but he follows it with something more important. He says Arsenal believe now, and belief at this level of football is not a soft concept. It is the difference between teams that crumble in big moments and teams that rise to them. Steven Gerrard's verdict. Steven Gerrard, who himself knows what it means to be an underdog in a Champions League final, gave the following analysis. I know more than anyone that an underdog can win this final. It was a mismatch when we played AC Milan, but anything can happen. Arsenal are playing against a high-quality team with an elite manager in Paris Saint-Germain, so Arsenal will have to be the best versions of themselves. Every single player will have to turn up, but of course they have got a chance. Being the underdogs might even suit this Arsenal team. If they can win the Premier League, that will give them immense confidence and belief going into the final as well. They have certainly got a chance. I think they need to use their physicality, their size, make every set piece count and take Paris Saint-Germain to places they do not want to go and make it uncomfortable for them. My analysis on this, Gerrard's advice is specific and tactical. He is telling Arsenal to lean into their physical attributes to make this a demanding, combative, uncomfortable final for Paris Saint-Germain. Arsenal's size and physicality in set-piece situations is a genuine weapon. If they can disrupt the rhythm and fluidity that Paris Saint-Germain thrive on, they create opportunities for their own quality to emerge. And Gerrard's point about the Premier League title is crucial. Walking into Budapest as champions would fundamentally change the energy around this Arsenal side. It would remove doubt and replace it with pure, unburdened belief. Aidan Keys on Arsenal's advantage. Adam Keys made a point that deserves serious attention. He said Arsenal went toe-to-toe with Paris Saint-Germain the previous season with an injury-ravaged squad. This time, most of the star players are fit and the team has hit form for the run-in. My analysis on this is the context that matters most. Whatever happened between these two clubs previously, it happened under very different physical conditions for Arsenal. This season's Arsenal squad, approaching full fitness at the most important moment, is a different animal. The key players are available, the form is there, and the experience of having faced Paris Saint-Germain in a previous European context means this group is not walking into the unknown. They know what this opponent looks like. They know what to expect. That knowledge has value. Arteta contract update. Fabrizio Romano confirmed the following. Arsenal are planning to offer Mikel Arteta a new contract this summer. The plan was already decided back in March, regardless of how the season ends. Arteta wants to focus on titles right now, but is fully committed to the Arsenal project and looking forward to contract talks. My analysis on this is one of the most significant off-field developments of the entire week, and it should not get lost in the excitement of the final. The fact that Arsenal's hierarchy decided back in March to offer Arteta a new contract before knowing whether they would win the title or reach the final tells you everything about the institutional trust in this manager. This is not a reactive decision based on results. This is a long-term strategic commitment. Arteta is not going anywhere. The project continues, and for a squad of players who have bought completely into this culture and style of play, that stability is enormously valuable. Enzo Fernandez transfer rumour. This is a rumour, and I want to be clear about that. It is being reported that Arsenal are monitoring the situation of Enzo Fernandez at Chelsea. Manchester City and Barcelona are also said to be interested. Chelsea currently have no plans to sell Fernandez, who signed a contract running until 2032. However, there is uncertainty around Chelsea's direction this season, and if that uncertainty continues, the summer transfer window could become active. My analysis on this, I repeat, this is a rumour at this stage. Nothing is confirmed. Fernandez is under contract at Chelsea until 2032, and the club has publicly stated they have no intention of selling. However, the situation bears watching. If Chelsea's internal instability continues into the summer, player attitudes can shift. Arsenal's interest in strengthening midfield is logical and well documented. Whether Fernandez specifically becomes a realistic target depends on factors that are not yet resolved. For now, file this under monitoring, not pursuit. Marcus Rashford rumour, another rumour. It is being reported that Arsenal are monitoring Marcus Rashford, whose future appears unlikely to be at either Manchester United or Barcelona. My analysis on this, again, I want to be precise. This is monitoring, not a bid, not negotiations, not even advanced interest. Arsenal are observing a situation involving a player whose future is uncertain. Whether that monitoring turns into genuine pursuit depends on many factors, including what Arsenal's priority positions are in the summer, what happens with their own squad in terms of sales, and whether Rashford's situation resolves itself elsewhere. Do not treat this as a done deal or even a likely deal at this stage. It is one name on what will be a long list of players being assessed this summer, World Cup warm-up absences. Arsenal Radar confirmed exclusively that several Arsenal players will miss their national team's World Cup warm-up fixtures as a direct result of the Champions League final time. The confirmed absences are as follows. Gabriel Magalhaes and Gabriel Martinelli will miss Brazil versus Panama. Piero Hincapié will miss Ecuador versus Saudi Arabia. Kai Havertz will miss Germany versus Finland. Martin Odegaard and Victor Gyökeres will miss Norway versus Sweden. Leandro Trossard's availability for Belgium versus Croatia is uncertain. Jurrien Timber's availability for Netherlands versus Algeria is uncertain. Declan Rice and Bukayo Saka are expected to receive extra rest before linking up with England. My analysis on this, the fact that this many Arsenal players have commitments that conflict with international warm-up fixtures, is simultaneously a headache for national team managers and a badge of honour for Arsenal as a single club. The Champions League final takes legitimate precedence. The tournament organisers and national associations understand that. What this list also tells you is the sheer breadth of international quality within this Arsenal squad. Brazil, Germany, Ecuador, Norway, Sweden, Belgium, Netherlands, England. That is the global scope of talent Mikel Arteta has assembled. It is a genuinely world-class squad. Luis Enrique's joke and the Arteta relationship after Paris Saint-Germain eliminated Bayern Munich and booked their place in the Budapest final. Luis Enrique appeared on CBS Sports alongside Jamie Carragher, Thierry Henry, Micah Richards, Kate Scott and Clint Dempsey. During the conversation, Carragher jokingly invited the Paris Saint-Germain manager to a pre-final party. Luis Enrique, without missing a beat, turned the joke around. His response was as follows: No, I will not be there, but you invite Mikel Arteta. I think he deserves to go a day before the final with you. The reaction in the CBS studio was immediate. Carragher, Henry, Richards, Scott and Dempsey all laughed. It was a moment of genuine warmth and wit from a manager who is known for his intensity on the touchline, but clearly has a human side that emerges in the right environment. My analysis on this: the joke works on multiple levels. On the surface, it is just banter, but underneath it, you can sense Luis Enrique's desire to project calm and confidence. He is essentially saying, I am not distracted by pre-final parties, I am focused. He uses the joke to signal his own preparation mindset without saying it directly. That is a psychologically intelligent move from a very experienced manager. He also uses the moment to position Arteta as the one who deserves to celebrate, while implicitly suggesting Paris Saint-Germain are entirely focused on the business. It is subtle, but it is deliberate. Behind the jokes, however, the mutual respect between these two managers is genuine and well established. They were teammates during their younger playing years. They are both Spanish. They both built their managerial identities on intensive pressing, high-energy football and deep tactical detail. The matchup between Arteta and Enrique in Budapest will be one of the most fascinating tactical battles European football has offered in years. Arsenal's summer transfer plans and financial reality. Now let me turn to what happens after the final, because the transfer window that follows will be just as significant as the games being played right now. It is now clear that Arsenal are preparing for a substantial summer of activity in the transfer market. Despite securing in excess of £120 million in Champions League prize money this season, the club's approach will not be a simple case of spending that windfall freely. The reality for the club is more complex and more disciplined than that. Mikel Arteta and sporting director Andrea Berta are prioritising sales alongside signings. The reason is structural. Modern football's financial rules, specifically the profit and sustainability framework, require clubs to demonstrate responsible financial management regardless of how much they earn from competitions. For Arsenal, this means that bringing in significant new talent requires generating fees from sales first. The prize money improves the overall financial picture, but it does not eliminate the need for book balancing. The situation is one that mirrors the approaches taken by the best-run clubs in European football: the discipline to sell before buying. To make hard decisions about players who no longer fit the project is what separates clubs that sustain success from those that build for one season and then crumble under financial pressure. Players who have been mentioned in the context of possible departures include Ben White, Leandro Trossard and Gabriel Martinelli. It is critical to state clearly that no decisions have been made on any of these players. These are names that have been linked with potential exits, but the manager and the club's hierarchy have not confirmed any sales. The situation is being assessed and decisions will be made in the summer based on the full picture of the squad, the finances and the ambitions for next season. What is clear is that this will not be a summer of sentiment. Arteta's blueprint demands a specific type of player in every position. Players who fit that blueprint stay. Players who do not, or who are seeking more regular opportunities elsewhere, may well be moved on, regardless of past contributions or emotional connections to the club. The key word in all of this is sustainable. Arsenal are not trying to win one season and then fall apart. The evidence of this entire campaign, the Premier League title challenge, the Champions League final, the squad depth, the contract extension being planned for Arteta, all of it points toward a club building something long-lasting. The summer will be decisive. But the foundations being laid right now, financial, tactical and cultural, give Arsenal every reason to believe that what they are building is not temporary. Let me bring this all together. Arsenal are in the Champions League final for the first time in 20 years. They face Paris Saint-Germain, the defending European champions, in Budapest on May 30th. Paris Saint-Germain are the favourites at 59% according to prediction markets. But Arsenal have the best defensive record in the competition and a squad that is approaching full fitness at exactly the right time. Mikel Merino is training on grass and pushing to be available. Luis Enrique respects Arsenal deeply but believes entirely in his own side. Thierry Henry will be nervous because Arsenal could achieve something he never could. Steven Gerrard says being the underdog might suit this Arsenal team. Owen Hargreaves says Arsenal just need to believe. Arteta is getting a new contract regardless of what happens in Budapest. The summer will involve sales as well as signings. Several transfer rumours are circulating, but none are confirmed at this stage. And before all of that, Arsenal have 3 more Premier League games to play. 3 games that could make them champions of England before they step onto that final stage in Hungary. The situation is extraordinary. The stakes could not be higher. And for every Arsenal supporter around the world, the next 23 days represent something that only comes along once in a generation. Budapest awaits.